KSLA presents Your Hometown Show, featuring outstanding businesses and services in your community.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Your Hometown Show. We're talking about a really serious subject today. The subject is epilepsy, and I have three ladies with me from with very different stories. I have Amy Nichols with the Epilepsy Foundation of Louisiana, and I have Charlotte Shaw, who is the mother of Christina, who had epilepsy and actually passed away from having one of her seizures. Then I have Taylor Manchak with me, who has epilepsy, is living with it. Let's start with Charlotte. Charlotte, tell us about what brought you here today. Tell us your story.
Okay. My daughter, Christina Zerker, was diagnosed when she was 8 years old with epilepsy. And on January 28th of 2012, I lost her due to an epileptic seizure. She had a seizure, and they defined it as a terminal seizure, and it killed her.
Wow. And I actually have a picture of her. This was a photo you have of when you went to an event.
Yeah, that was took about 2 weeks before Christina passed away, with Seamus, her hero from wrestling. Every time she talked about it in that 2 weeks, her face lit up like a Christmas tree. So her last 2 weeks were literally the happiest of her life.
But you've done something really amazing. Instead of, you've grieved and all, but you also have helped to make sure that what happened to Christina doesn't necessarily happen to someone else out there. And you've gotten involved, you've taught yourself about epilepsy, and actually donated Christina's body to science.
Yes, ma'am. When she was 16, she had told her sister and her stepdad that she wanted to be donated to science should anything ever happen to her. We were actually sitting in Roseneath Funeral Home getting ready to make her funeral plans when her sister spoke up and said something. And that was the first time I had found out that she had wanted her body donated to science. And as bad as it hurt to lose her, it's one of those things that you do what people want you to do. And she wanted to make a difference in other people's lives. Yeah. So I had to do what I did to make her wish come true.
And you actually contacted me a long time ago, a year ago,
yes,
and told me you had recently lost her, and told me that you wanted to make sure that her name and her story was not forgotten.
Exactly.
You eventually did connect with Amy with the Epilepsy Foundation, and here you are today.
Yes.
To tell about this. Now, Christina, she knew she had epilepsy.
Christina was diagnosed when she was 8 years old. She had had a seizure in the school library. Her father has epilepsy, so I knew straight away what it was. I had been in the library with her to make sure she took a test on the computer, and her face turned up towards the light. She started having a seizure, and we went from there. And about 2 weeks later, we got the diagnosis of epilepsy, which obviously did not come as a surprise to us because, like I said, we already knew. Epilepsy kills on average about 50,000 people a year. And when Christina was diagnosed, the doctor had told me it was only a few hundred. And after she passed away, I started doing the research, and I was horrified and upset when I've seen that there was actually more people dying from epilepsy than from breast cancer.
Wow. And Taylor, you're a friend of the family. You have epilepsy.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your experience been?
It's been hard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was bullied through middle school and high school more than any. In high school, I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 16. Mm-hmm. And
kids don't understand.
No, I was bullied. I had seizures almost every day in high school. There was an ambulance up there for me.
Wow.
Because I would have them almost every day. And I have a story. It hurts to even talk about it. Mm-hmm. It hurts my feelings because I was in.
It's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
I was in JRTC, and where the JRTC room is in Southwood, my brother would have football practice, so luckily, he was there for every seizure I would have. And I had a really big one day. I wasn't breathing, and I couldn't respond to my mother or anything. And then that day, while I was still in the hospital, my friend that had RTC with me, Amberly Percival, told me that everybody, including the RTC instructor, was making fun of me, my movements, and the noises and everything. And my brother went off on him.
Yeah.
That day he went in there and went off on him.
And this is the kind of thing, though, that is going on with people out there. Thank you. How many people out there have it?
In the United States, there's approximately 3 million people that have epilepsy, 65 million worldwide. 1 out of every 10 will suffer an epileptic seizure sometime in their life.
If we want to learn more information, if we have questions, where can we go?
You can contact Amy at the Epilepsy Foundation. I would be happy to speak to folks. You can contact me through Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on there, Charlotte Schaff,
Okay.
at Facebook.
And we have the information.